The vast majority of all the people who have ever lived wouldn't even have dreamt of the ease and abundance and comfort of our lives here and now. And yet, all too often, we are miserable. When it comes to happiness, it seems like we have no idea what we're doing. Everyone, of course, wants to be happy, but what even is it? Where should one look for it? Where do you get it? Jesus begins his Sermon on the Mount talking about the way to happiness, or the way in the old-timey language to beatitude. That's what these are called, the Beatitudes. To blessedness, to happiness. And Jesus, as he often does, shockingly turns things upside down. As Paul writes in our epistle today, the wisdom of the world is deeply off. The world sees folly as wisdom, and wisdom as folly. And here Jesus, the wisdom of God, as Paul says, tells us a different kind of wisdom, a wisdom that looks like foolishness. The core of the Beatitudes, as we'll see, kind of iterated over and over, has to do with our turning from seeking the fulfillment of our ultimate desire to turn from trying to find where our deepest desires can be met, to not see that as being in finite, passing things. That the things of this world are not what will make us happy. We are strange creatures. We are animals that aren't satisfied the way animals usually are. It's like we have a bottomless hunger or desire for happiness within us. And all the different things we can find in the world, we try to fill up that hole with them. It just ends up being more and more frustrating. You can see this with addiction. So Jesus says first, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." We are too often fixated on wealth, on being rich, of gauging our happiness by the amount of material things we have or what we can get, our stuff, our possessions. But rather, Jesus is saying we should be more detached from these things, not attached to our material possessions. We should realize that we don't need to be driven always by getting more stuff, more possessions, more money. That the problem isn't that we don't have enough yet. He says we're too attached to this. We're trying to fill an infinite space with these finite things. You're never going to get enough. So he's saying, blessed are those who aren't attached in this way, but are rather poor in spirit, rather know that they are in need, and that they need God, and they're humble before him, that they are subjects in God's kingdom. They're not striving to be kings themselves. So blessed are those who realize they are poor, for theirs is the kingdom. That's where they find their place. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. We're too often also fixated on having good feelings, on pleasure, good food or excitement or intoxication or sexual gratification. Jesus says these good things, and they're good things, but they're not what is most important. In fact, if you try to seek them as what's most important, you'll find that it really doesn't work. That those who are most seeking after pleasure are not the happiest, most enjoying people. That those who seek after comfort are not those who get comforted. But it's rather those who are not fixated or addicted to pleasure or good feelings that can be able to understand a true comfort, being comforted in a way that's deeper than whatever your momentary feelings and your losses, whatever those might be, that there is a comfort that's deeper than those things. That you can at once mourn and be comforted. Blessed, Jesus says, are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Something else that we can fall under is the spell of power or ambition, of being able to get and do what you want. Just like pleasure or possessions, there's nothing wrong with power or ambition or achievement as such. The problem is when we get fixated on this, especially the way we are towards those who get in our way of that we are willing to step on those to get ahead. And normally it's those who seize power and who are ambitious who are the ones who inherit the earth. But rather, Jesus says it is the meek, those who are not in the grip, not in the fixation on how much power they have or do not have. Jesus says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." Instead of hungering and thirsting for something for ourselves, the way hunger and thirst usually work, hunger and thirsting, maybe going beyond your literal hunger and thirsting for your advantage, for people thinking well of you, for getting ahead. Rather, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Not righteousness as a way of promoting yourself or your group, but for God's righteousness. To hunger and thirst for the proper way things should be. To live the way God requires. For as Paul writes, man's anger about what is right or just, does not bring about God's righteousness. Jesus says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy." The merciful are those who are generous, who are not fixated on what they are owed, not looking to get their payback or to get revenge, eye for an eye, but who are merciful. But then, in a surprising turn, Jesus says, those who get rid of thinking in terms of payback and reciprocity, giving to get, are going to be a part of a higher reciprocity. Those who are generous to others more than they deserve are the ones who receive such generosity more than they deserve. That such a merciful and generous person will receive God's mercy and generosity. Blessed, Jesus says, are the pure in heart, for they will see God. To be pure in heart is to have a consistency in your character and integrity, not mixed with other things. It's the opposite of duplicity, of having a two-ness to you, a doubleness. Jesus is saying, blessed are you if you seek to have this kind of integrity. Not out of a desire for other people to see you as a good person, or even out of a desire to do the right thing, but out of a desire for God. That is your one desire, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. If this is your heart, this is the thing that holds you together. As the philosopher and theologian Soren Kierkegaard once wrote, purity of heart is to will one thing. This is to will the love of God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Those who bring about this kind of integrity and wholeness to their relationship with other peoples. And finally, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. To seek to be pure in heart, to have a life centered on the love of God, following Christ as our Lord. Our Lord Jesus and the Apostle Paul both today saying, doing this will mean that you will come into conflict with the world. You will come into conflict with those who do not follow Christ as Lord, who have in fact not sworn themselves to his kingdom. Because the way of Jesus, this way of happiness or beatitude, is strange. And as Paul writes, the message of the cross, though it is foolishness to those who are perishing, to those caught up in the wisdom of the world, to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. So let us be true to Christ as our Lord, and let us follow his way, for it is the way to blessed life, to beatitude.